Good day, and welcome back to all the grumpy commentary enthusiasts and people just like hearing Canadians speak. I'm Brian, and I'm just an old Canadian guy who's been around long enough to remember when people used to debate over a pint of beer or a glass of whiskey, or two, or maybe three, without fearing the wrath of the name-calling brigade. Today, I'm going to be diving into a topic that's been bugging me for a while, and maybe it's been itching at the back of your mind too. Remember the good old days when you could have a heated discussion at the local pub about politics, culture, or even the price of maple syrup? Well, it seems those days are as distant as the last time I saw a moose sipping tea. Nowadays, if you don't toe the line of the mainstream narrative, you risk being called every ist and phobic name in the book. And that, my friends, is what we're exploring today. When did expressing your dislike for someone's opinion turn into a full-blown hate crime? Before I dive into the abyss of political correctness, I want to share a bit of my own experience. As a Christian, my beliefs have shaped my perspective, but they also stirred the pot. I've had folks who don't know me throw hateful names my way simply because I hold Christian beliefs. I've been called homophobic, though it's not true. I believe it's a sin, but hey, if I based who I liked on being sinless, I'd like nobody, not even myself. I've been called Islamic phobic, but that's a stretch too. Disagreeing with religious beliefs does not mean you're against a person's right to practice them. And believe it or not, I've been even called racist because I'm a Christian, which is a real puzzling one considering I'm the proud adopted father of two mixed race children, who I'm happy to say are both now thriving as adults. There was one person who even unleashed a barrage of hateful names before even getting to know me, all because they heard I'm a Christian. They even suggested rounding up all Christians, and well, let's not get into that, but you get the picture. But I just laughed it off, and as any good Canadian would, I told them, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that they feel such hate towards me, and asked if they ever considered that they might be a bit Christophobic. They said they couldn't be because I just made up that word. Aren't all words made up? Somebody had to make them up. So grab your toque, your double-double, and let's unravel the mystery of when hating what someone has says became the notorious hate speech. Stick around and let's have a good old Canadian discourse about it. And hey, don't forget to drop your thoughts down below, whether you agree or disagree with me. Let's bring back the art of respectful debating. Your opinions matter, and I want to hear them. Now, let's get into it. Now, before we wade deeper into the murky waters of hate speech today, let's take a moment to paddle back to the origins of hate speech laws. The term hate speech was first introduced in Canada in 1970, when the Criminal Code underwent amendments to include provisions prohibiting the advocacy of genocide and the incitement of hatred against identifiable groups, where these activities are likely to occasion a breach of peace. The amendment was a direct response to recommendations of the Special Committee on Hate Propaganda in Canada, also known as the Cohen Committee. This committee was established in the aftermath of a series of events in the 1960s when certain white supremacists and neo-Nazi groups largely based in the United States were active in Canada. With these historical roots in mind, let's fast forward to today, where the landscape of hate speech seems to be shifting like a canoe in a stormy sea. Take, for instance, our very own Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who in January 2022, he dubbed members of the Truckers Convoy Protest a group standing up against government-mandated vaccination requirements he called them a fringe minority with unacceptable views. Unacceptable views, according to him, meant dissenting from the government's mandates and its firing and encouraging businesses to fire the unvaccinated. It seems we've reached a point where disagreeing with those in power can brand you as part of a so-called unacceptable minority. But let's bring it closer to home. Here where I live on PI and across Canada, parents recently marched on provincial legislatures advocating for the respect of parental rights in the face of policies to empower schools to encourage and intervene in a child's gender transition without parental knowledge, input, or consent. The CBC reported that these hateful parents were seen wearing shirts and holding signs with slogans like, "Leave our kids alone." Our kids go to school to learn the ABCs, not LGBTQ2S+, and let kids just be kids. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but caring about your child's future, mental health, and well-being doesn't sound like hate to me. It sounds like genuine concern. And then there's the case of Joe Biden across the border. Remember when he suggested African Americans who didn't vote for his Democrats weren't really black Americans?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
So if you don't agree with him, you're not just disagreeing, you're somehow a racist, and worse, a lesser person of your race, a lesser human being. So let me pose a question. Is it more hateful to disagree with a person's values, or to claim that those who disagree with you have unacceptable views or are somehow lesser beings? The line between healthy disagreement and the dangerous territory of hate speech seems to be blurrier than ever. Now, stay with me while I dive deeper into the consequences of this evolving definition of hate speech and its impact on our ability to have open, respectful conversations. Don't click away yet. I'm just getting started. Now, as we navigate the tumultuous waters of modern discourse, it's impossible to ignore the prevailing trend of prioritizing feelings over facts. In my experience, engaging in debates and discussions has become less about presenting evidence and more about navigating a minefield of emotions. Social media, the double-edged sword of our times, plays a pivotal role in this shift. It seems like everyone has a platform, but including me. But instead of fostering healthy dialogue, we often find ourselves drowning in a sea of subjective narratives. Take a look at the comment sections of any YouTube channel covering news, and not just politics even. You'll see it on channels covering the entertainment industry as well. It used to be that a difference of opinion was met with counter-arguments, a clash of ideas rooted in facts. But increasingly it feels like the exchange of ideas is giving way to a battle of emotions. Debates that should be intellectual are clouded by sentiment, and it's becoming challenging to separate genuine dialogue from personal attacks. On the broader scale, I can't help but notice how disagreements in the public sphere are swiftly transformed into personal attacks. The recent parental protests I talked about earlier across Canada are a prime example. Parents marching peacefully for the right to be involved in a life-altering decision about their children were met with accusations of hatred simply for expressing concerns. Slogans like "Let kids just be kids" were labeled as hateful, though they merely reflected parental worry rather than an animosity towards any group. This brings us to the core of the matter, the blurred line between expressing genuine concerns and being labeled as hateful. The intersection of facts and personal beliefs has become a precarious terrain to navigate. Disagreement, once the cornerstone of a healthy debate, has transformed into a potential minefield where expressing an opposing view can lead to being branded as intolerant, even if it's rooted in genuine concerns. In this era where feelings often overshadow facts, where social media echo chambers amplify emotional responses, the art of logical critique is at risk. So I pose this question: are we sacrificing the pursuit of truth for the comfort of our own convictions? As we sail through these uncharted waters, the tension between feelings and fact continue to shape the landscape of our conversation. Perhaps it's not too late to reclaim the rational discourse we once knew. As I reflect on the changing dynamics of discourse, it's evident that we've shifted from an era where open and free speech was the cornerstone of a healthy debate to a landscape where words are considered acts of violence. It brings to mind the age-old adage, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me." How do we go from that resilient perspective to the current day narrative where mere words are viewed as weapons? In the good old days, whether at a pub hashing out politics or responding to the latest YouTube video about the US presidential race, respectful disagreement was the norm. The art of debate thrived on diverse opinions and the exchange of ideas, fostering an environment where individuals felt free to express their thoughts without the fear of personal attacks. However, we now find ourselves at a crossroads where differing opinions are not met with counter-arguments, but with accusations of violence. This is a shift. This shift is doing society a disservice, limiting our ability to engage in open dialogue and stifling the benefits that come with free expression. Robust debates where ideas clash and evolve are the bedrock of societal progress. Empirical evidence supports the notion that open discourse, even when opinions differ, leads to innovation and better informed decision making. History has shown that societies that encourage diverse viewpoints and protect free speech are more resilient and adaptable. The stifling of open discourse, on the other hand, can lead to dangerous echo chambers where ideas go unchallenged and progress stagnates. Let's not forget that the power of words lies not just in their potential to hurt, but also in their capacity to enlighten and bridge gaps. It's time to reclaim the wisdom of our predecessors, resurrect the resilience encapsulated in sticks and stones, and foster an environment where words are tools for understanding, not weapons of warfare. As we navigate these changing dynamics, let's strive for a return to the days where a heated debate ended with a handshake, not a barrage of insults. The true strength of society lies in its ability to welcome diverse voices, fostering a rich tapestry of ideas that propels us forward. As I conclude this exploration into the changing dynamics of discourse, I want to extend a heartfelt invitation to all of you. The richness of our conversation lies in the diversity of our opinions, and it's time we reclaim the lost art of civil and respectful discussion. I encourage each one of you to join the conversation down in the comments. Share your thoughts, your disagreements, and your perspectives. Let's bring back the tradition of open dialogue, where ideas clash and minds are expanded. Your voice matters, and I'm eager to hear what you have to say. And hey, if you enjoyed our little journey through the currents of discourse, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for more opinions, reviews, and reactions on everything from the latest political drama to the quirks of Canadian culture. And music, too. To all those woke kids now, I want you to get off my lawn and stop complaining that your feelings are hurt because I'm asking you to respect my property rights. And that is my right of free speech. And remember, folks, the world was built on a foundation of diverse opinions and a healthy dose of good humor. So next time, keep the debates alive, subscribe for more grumpy wisdom, cheers, and keep those opinions flowing like that sweet brown stout at your local craft brewery.